right, everybody, good afternoon. Let's talk open stock. Open, the big meme stock that's up another 100-something% today. It was on last night's watch list. Today was a pretty good day. I fumbled the bag with open, though, but I still want to talk about some stuff that I traded today. It was actually a pretty good day. We had some really good opportunities today trading, not PMN. What was the top stock today? SABS had some really good opportunities today. But I want to go through everything that I actually touched today from start to finish because it was kind of a funky day still. SABS was fantastic. Open, I don't really like a whole lot. We're going to talk about the ins and outs of open, what I think about it going forward. I'm just tiny green on open today. Not really a whole lot there to go over, but I still want to talk about it nonetheless. So, nice green day today. SABS sort of stole the show, and I want to go through all of this. So, first and foremost, of course, we know open. The big meme stock hype. This thing is the next GameStop is what they're all saying. This thing's going to rocket to $30 a share because of the interest rates coming down and all this crap. And what you got to keep in mind is this is simply a meme stock. What does that mean? This stock is not up due to any fundamental reason whatsoever. It's all manipulated move. None of this is organic. None of it's based on fundamentals. And I've been seeing this all over social media. People saying, oh, it's moving because once interest rates come down, this thing's going to go to the moon. No, this thing is moving because it was posted on Wall Street Bets or on Reddit last week. This is not a fundamental play. And nobody really quite understands what that means. You have to look at the move and say, look, what caused this move to start? What started this move? What prompted this move? Easy answer, Reddit. This is not a move based on any bit of fundamentals. If it was not for that post on Reddit, this thing would not be moving right now. So, again, it's all a manipulated, a manufactured move is what you like to call it. It's not an organic move based on fundamentals. Now, one thing to note about this stock today is it was on last night's watch list. And the watch list called it out to a T last night. I'll actually show you here real quick. Watch list called it out to a T today. But I didn't really get to play it. I wanted to watch it today over 260. This thing looked fantastic. Again, just off the watch list. It was on the last night. It was on the watch list this morning. And you can see how I wanted to watch on the pivot over that area of supply from Friday. And it worked out beautifully. But I didn't have enough confidence to play it. And the reason why is it doesn't really fit my criteria. I wish that it did, but it just doesn't. And so I'll pull up the chart here for you. We'll sort of dive into it here a little bit. But it doesn't really fit my criteria. Typically, we're looking to trade stocks that are under like share float on the high end. Typically, I won't even look at a stock over 100 mil float. They just trade really thick. They trade really wide. They're really hard to really do a whole lot with. I just can't get good reads on them. They trade very. It's just not part of my playbook. And so today I try to play this. I take some breakouts, take some pullbacks, and I'm just so small green on this. Practically nothing. You can see here. I mean, I take it over the high of day for some nice dips off moving average for the move up through the highs, and I capture a little bit of something, and then I just super choppy for me. Like the way that it trades, it's not me. You know what I mean? It's just not me. So not super happy about that. And so, you know, the thing is, you've got to niche down and focus on what you know works for you, and you're not going to be the very best at everything out there under the sun. I mean, I'm going to go trade, you know, a Google, a Nvidia as good as somebody that only trades large cap stocks, and the same thing applies here. I don't typically trade stocks with a, not even 100 mil share float, let alone 600 million share float. I mean, so what I'll say is the opportunity was definitely here today. But for me, using my top-down confluence, going from the 5 minute to the 1 minute, I just didn't like this on the 1 minute at all today. It was just way too choppy, way too wide. I just couldn't really get positioned well enough on this to really do anything with, unfortunately. And I wish that I could have, but, you know. So, those things, not a massive fan of this, but SABS I was a massive fan of today. We actually traded this very well in the time frames here, so you can actually see. Had some really good stuff on this today and actually secured my nice day. Big thing here is it just checks off all the boxes. I mean, you figure SABS here, we have a 7 million share float, traded 80 million shares of volume today, and overall, I mean, I just crushed it today. Left a little bit of money on the table. We'll talk about why. And, you know, overall, just super happy about this one here. So, of course, you look back at pre-market action. We had these previous highs sitting right up here on 430, 440. And so, you know, we make a mental note of this, and we know that we have this high overhead around 440, 450. And so we get that big inflow of buyers out of the bell. We know we have range to the pre-market high around 440, 450. And so I'm just watching this pretty closely. And we set up nice over VWAP. You can see here price breaks up through VWAP, pulls back. I take the entry on the reclaim of VWAP. You can see it pulls back to VWAP after that first breakout candle. You never want to chase the first candle. Wait for it to pull back. So I waited for the pullback. I nailed the entry there at, what was it, like 330 something? 390, 380. Yeah, so 395 actually. Risking 385. And so I had 10 cents of risk. And I get a move here to my targets right underneath 440. I take full profit at 430. And so you figure I got about a 40-cent move on this. A 40-cent move risking 10 cents a share. That's a 4-hour trade. You know, I'm walking out pretty happy. And so that trade I was super, super happy with. Again, super simple pullback off of VWAP. And, you know, I took full profit here. I didn't sit here and hold through the move for the move through the high of day and so on and so forth. But I did miss one of the moves here. And so as this is breaking up through that pre-market high, which happens right here, you know, I'm watching this entry on that breakout and I miss it. I didn't take the entry there on the pullback. This candle pulls up, breaks out, pulls back again for an entry, and I missed the entry. And so it just goes without me. And I watched this thing rocket then from the mid fours all the way over 6. So about a $2 move here, give or take. And I'm sitting on the sidelines watching it. It just goes and goes and goes. 3 candles and halts here. And so at this point, I'm watching for pullbacks, looking for dip opportunities. And we actually came across some pretty good opportunities. I traded it very, very well today. I'm actually super, super happy about it. We resume, and this thing continues higher. Continues from 550. I missed the entry on the resumption. I'm not going to go chase out of a halt. So it breaks out, makes a move towards the 657s. And I'm looking for pullbacks. Now, price hesitates off the high here, which this candle signals that this is a indecisive move here up towards that high. So I'm looking for a nice pullback. And so I see price pull back and we get this little, again, smaller body candle here to form. And so that small body signals that what? Well, this pullback is a bit weak. This pullback is about indecisive. And so I take the entry really tight, risking the bottom of this candle, see if I can't get that move back up into the highs. And we did just that. And so again, I get a pretty nice move here. I mean, nothing crazy, but I capture another, you figure 604 to 630. And so again, I'm happy. Another quick 5%, easy enough. And so we let this thing sit up a little bit and it pulls back off of the resumption candle lows and we reverse and confirm. And so we can see price pulls back, confirms buyers here off this halted, off this resumption price area, makes move back up into that previous high of day. And so what I know now is looking at price action is we have sellers sitting here. We've got buyers sitting here. That's clear as day. We've got supply overhead. We've got demand down here off the halt price or the resumption price. And so now we have this range put in place that I can actually do something with. And so we see price pull back and I start taking dips on this. And I just start soaking off the bottom of this range, looking for that move back higher. And so again, I take the pullback, I sell up in the strength. And I had probably 2 or 3 trades within this range that I was super, super happy with. You hear from 539 to about 550, 1, 2, 3 times. Now, I played it here from 535 to 550, sort of looking for the confirmed move back up through highs. And so my big concern here is this thing was going to knife underneath this low because of how stuff has been trading the last few days, which it's going to take some time to rebuild that confidence. Because really for the last 2-3 weeks, we've been seeing these pullbacks just pull the freaking rug underneath us. And then we're stuck here taking max loss on these trades, which we don't want to do, obviously. So I'm playing super defensive here. Not getting too aggressive, although in hindsight, had I got more aggressive, this would have been a monster play. But nonetheless, got to be objective. Got to understand what's been happening the last few weeks and just be aware. And so I take the pullback. We get to move higher, raise my stops to entry. I take the pullback, trim some profits, raise my stops to entry. And then finally, do it again for the third time. Third time was the charm. Took the pullback at 535, and I get the break to 570. Take full profits, and I'm out for full profit at the top of this wedge, and I'm happy with it. Again, my plan panned out here. Again, so I played it from the bottom of the range up into the top of its wedge here. And so, again, it worked out perfectly there. Super, super happy to it. Again, it's using the simple little supply and demand flip there to sort of trade that range. Now, these are my favorite setups because once they put in place a range, I can really get aggressive with it and, do fairly well, really get profit. And so again, once it breaks down, watching it here, we understand this is supply overhead. And so we're being cautious, but I take the entry on the confirmed breakout. You can see price confirms at the highs here over trend. And I take the pullbacks off of the moving average. Again, you can see the moving average tight beneath price. I'm taking the pullbacks. And I get a nice move here. I get a move here from, you can see 588 all the way to about 635. And so again, another about 10% move on the second trade here. I took the first trade for a small win, got back in on the second trade after confirming off the 9 EMA. And then boom, back up into the high of day again. And as we know, we had supply overhead, so raised my stop just in case it rejected and sold the rest above entry. Again, overall, another beautiful trade. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 profitable trades this morning on SABS. And overall, I was super, super happy with it. Now, the only thing that I look back at and I just kicked myself in the butt is missing this move right here. Everything else I caught. But missing the move right there, I was just kicking myself so hard. But I can't be too upset, though. I traded it well. I think the thing is, had the market not been so choppy the last couple of weeks, had we not seen the lack of follow through the last few weeks, yeah, maybe I would have got more aggressive. But today was a day where this was my favorite setup. I came in today and traded it rather aggressively. I got kind of aggressive back through here and was able to capitalize. But the thing was, this is my favorite setup today, and everything else I just wasn't really a massive fan of. You know, I left SABS, went to try and trade AIRE, which is a pretty nice little play. But again, I left a lot of money on the table here. And we look back at this from this morning, and it made a pretty big move, but in hindsight, it was very choppy. And it made a big move all the way to $1 today, and I try to play it here for the continuation through the highs. You can see here, I take it on the high of day breakout. I get a nice little move. I'm wanting to see this just follow through and just trail highs, or trail lows, excuse me. But it just starts to hesitate. You know, did it ever blow? It did not. But I'm trying to trade this high of day breakout here. So, you know, it kind of chops around a little bit. And so I take full profit and I move on from it. Another really good one we had today was MEIP. MEIP today I was actually super fond of. It actually traded pretty well, no lie. Now, as you can see, volume is pretty light here this afternoon. Volume was actually pretty light this morning on it too, but at least was fairly liquid. The spreads were not as crazy as they are now. You know, this one was not too bad. We had the high day breakout where we break up on this sort of tightening wedge again formed here after market open, 950 breakout. I'm looking for a 1 minute pullback. And so again, I take a 1 minute pullback here. This candle pulls back rather steep, the bottom of this candle. And so I take it here and look for a little pop back up into the high of day. We got a little bit of something here. We got a little bit profit taken. And then I wait for it to confirm again. Now, you can see it starts to get volume through this range here after breaking out, which is sort of where that conviction came from. But you can see here the selling off the highs. I was a little bit indecisive after seeing that move. And so after we see price starting to break up here, I'm trying to look for this breakout. And so the lower lows and these lower highs form. So after we break out through these lower highs and sort of break up out of this 1 minute flag, I try to take the entry for the breakup through the high of day, and I capture a nice little move. But again, nothing to really write home about. Another small little win on this. And I played it really from, you can see 755 to 765, and then again from 770 to 780s. And so again, just kind of a small win here as well. Then, you know, we had OP, which I liked a good bit today. But, you know, I'm still lacking conviction on a lot of these. Look at the lack of volume here on this too. And this was sort of a dead cat bounce style setup today where I tried to play the continuation up into its gap fill and ended up making a little bit of a move later in the morning. And you see it made a move here from the 70s to, you know, 77. And we see more stuff like this follow through this week that I will begin to have the conviction to trade these more aggressively and to actually hold through these moves, because this would have been another nice one as well. But volume was so light, I didn't want to get knifed. Again, hindsight 2020. While trading this, you can see volume was just dwindling. And so my concern is with the lack of volume, this thing's going to knife underneath the lows, and I'm going to get stuck with a max loss here. And so just had to do what was right. And so really, while this was another small win, this again goes back to what I was saying, where all of my profit really, or at least most of my profit from today, comes from SABS. You know, I did okay and everything else I tacked on small profits on, but SABS this morning was the breadwinner. The one that brought home the profits today was SABS. It was so clean. It was so predictable. This is the kind of stock that I love to trade. This is what I love to get aggressive on. This is the thing that I can, you know, I can actually come in and milk that opportunity for everything that it's worth. Just trying to rebuild that conviction, rebuild that confidence through consistency, because as you know, consistency breeds confidence. As we see stuff working out like it did today on SABS, we can sort of get more confident out there, start to really get active out there, and overall just start to have a really, really good time as we head into the rest of the month and into the later summer and early fall months as well. I think it's going to be really, really good. Second half of the year, I'm really looking forward to it. The first half of this year was insane. Early spring, early summer, through that stretch of time, we did so well. It was insane. So I'm really looking forward to it. All that being said, hopefully this video helps you out a little bit of long video today, sort of diving into everything. But just make sure if you are trading that open meme stock that you have a plan. Manage your risk. Don't let it flip right on you. And aside from that, stick to your rules, make some money, and I'll see y'all back tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe for daily videos like this and claim your 7-day free trial for live trading just like this. Alerts, education, watch list, chat room access, and so much more. That link will be down in the description below, and I will see y'all there.